Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to give you a bit of an update on my opinions. My opinions on Jose Mourinho, Manchester United. My opinions on Jose Mourinho and Manchester United. Reportedly now, he's come out in the press, as I said yesterday, about his press conference. Now he's used stats in his current press conference. He says people who use stats don't understand football properly. He also said Manchester United won't be relegated, did Jose Mourinho, in his press conference. And he also said it was 3 defensive errors in the game yesterday against Manchester City. So he said we got punished for them errors, and he said it was 3 defensive errors that led to Manchester City's 3 goals as well. And this is what Jose Mourinho's used in his current press conference. He also said Fellaini shouldn't have played for 90 minutes and all this. He said the defensive errors is different to an actual bad performance, and this is what Jose Mourinho's explained in the media. And this is what Jose Mourinho's explained in the media. But for me, my opinions on Jose Mourinho, the club, it's his 3rd season now at Old Trafford. We're not in a commanding position now. We should be, with 12 points from the top, 7 points behind top 4, considering he spent just under £400 million on 11 players. And my question is, Jose Mourinho should be extracting, my opinion on the situation is Jose Mourinho should be extracting, you know, from extracting better performances from these groups of players, that are we spent millions of pounds on, But the question is, I'm going to give you this question now. Is Jose Mourinho getting the best out of these group of players? Are the players getting the best? Are these group of players getting the best out of Jose Mourinho? Because we all know basically that he's had disputes, especially with a lot of top players, since he's come to Old Trafford. I know United fans, a lot of them now will be Jose Mourinho out. But yesterday, you know, we only had 1 shot on target, and that was the Martial goal. I've got another statistic to update you. We had 11 passes in the first 12 minutes, and 5 of them were only successful. So that is absolutely appalling. We can't even string 3 or 4 passes together. I know Manchester United, and why we're playing defensively against Manchester City. Why did we park the bus yesterday against Manchester City? We should go out there for the win. Basically, I know. Basically, Paul Pogba wasn't in the squad. He was currently out with a minor injury because he currently had missed training. But I think, in my opinion, Jose Mourinho put Fellaini in, replace of Paul Pogba's absence. But Jose Mourinho should not put Fellaini on, not in a Manchester derby, because he is a long ball player. I think, you've got £50 million Jose Mourinho paid for Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk. Why is he sitting on the bench? I think Jose Mourinho should have put Fred in to replace Paul Pogba's absence instead of Mario Fellaini, especially in a big game against Manchester City. I'd have definitely put Fred there. We paid £50 for him. He doesn't play that much, to be quite honest with you. You've got a midfield with Matic and Fellaini and that and Herrera. I think that looks very, very static. There's no tempo, there's no creativeness, there's no speed at all in the team. With Matic and Fellaini in the midfield, it just looks a totally complete. It just looks a static midfield. There's no fastness, there's no tempo, there's no desire, heart, and passion in that mid with Matic and Fellaini there. But would everyone says would there have been a difference if Paul Pogba would have been fit for the game? We're not sure because he was the key player last season. When we was 2-0 down to City, and we come back to win 3-2. But Jose Mourinho just he deserves the criticism he's currently getting. As I said, he should have put Fred there instead of Manny and Fellaini. It's good to see that Herrera's getting a bit more game time now because he has been making substitute appearances this season as Ender Herrera. But I thought recently, to be fair to Herrera, he has been playing well. But yesterday, I thought Herrera played very, very bad. I thought it was diabolical, Herrera. I think Lindelof slightly improved this season at Manchester United, to be quite fair. But defensively, we're terrible. We've conceded 21 goals now in the Premier League in our first 12 Premier League games. So defensively, we've got issues. And Jose Mourinho's looking to strengthen that defence up. He's also looking for an attack as well. I think, Lukaku came on. I think Lukaku, he can score goals. He hasn't been in great form at all this season. Lonely Lukaku, he came off the bench yesterday, got us the penalty. I think Lukaku's too slow on the ball, to be quite fair. I don't think there's any tempo to his play, and he just loses the ball quite easily. We just lost the ball far too easily yesterday. If you look at the statistics, according to Jose Mourinho's statistics, if people go on statistics of a game, they don't understand football. This is what Mourinho's explained. But look at the statistics. City had the majority of the possession. They controlled the game in every area of the pitch. You know, they've got speed and tempo to their play. You know, when Manchester United had the ball, we just looked slow. We were playing backwards. There was no tempo or flair to his game. I don't think there was an official game plan from the start for Manchester United because we was just playing defensively. Why would you play defensively against a team, you know, like Manchester City? You know, considering the form we've been in, you know, we should be going out there trying to get the win. We know Manchester City are a great side, you know, but if you look at the statistics yesterday, I think there was 17 shots from City, Man U 6. They created 19 chances, Man U created 4. Man U only had the one shot on target from Martial. You know, accurate passes, City made 643. I think United made 319. So City just fully dominated the game. They were excellent, because David De Gea didn't really have to make a save. But you were just, I thought they dominated the majority of the game. Manchester United basically just were not in the match. You know, he went with a 4-3-3, did Jose Mourinho. I also thought he should have started Mata. Mata came on because Mata was our saver midweek. You know, he saved us midweek in the Champions. I thought Mourinho basically should have started Juan Mata as well on the, you know, instead of Jesse Lingard. But I said Mata's more of a number 10, as I said. But he definitely should have started Juan Mata from the start, in my opinion. But he should have put Fred on instead of Fellaini. We know Pogba is injured, so he should have just put Fred on. He's got £50 million there he's paid for the play. He should have given him the chance in a big, massive game like that. But City, you know, their outstanding performance yesterday. Sane did well when he came and looked dangerous, causing our defence problems. Bernardo Silva got 2 assists. Gundogan got his name on the score sheet. Aguero's now scored 8 goals against Man United. Aguero's now scored 8 goals against Man United. You know, Raheem Mahrez got the assist for that. And the first goal, David Silva, it was absolutely world class, to be quite honest with you. Bernardo Silva got the assist for that as well. And Manchester City now, 36 goals in the Premier League, top of the league, 36 goals, no defeats, I think 2 draws, and only conceded 5 goals on season. So, especially the top teams, haven't even conceded half of the goals we've conceded this season. You know, I think we've only conceded more goals than other. I think the only teams that have conceded more goals than us is about I think it's Burnley, Huddersfield, Fulham, and Cardiff. I think they're the only teams that have conceded more than Manchester United. And basically, things have to improve. Manchester United. This is our 4th defeat now this season in our first 12 games. I think it's 6 or 7 defeats now in all competitions. So, do you think Jose Mourinho will last at Old Trafford? I'm not too sure, to be quite honest with you. It's, you know, is Jose Mourinho getting the best out of these players? Are the players getting the best out of Jose Mourinho? Some people criticise, you know, I've criticised him now, you know, his style of play needs to improve, his managerial style at the club, Manchester United, needs to improve as well. Everyone talks about him being arrogant as well, but he's only won 3 trophies since he's come to the club at Manchester United, and you know, this is his 3rd season now with the club. He's only won 3 trophies since he's come. You know, as I said, based on Manchester United's history, based on, you know, Jose Mourinho's history, you know, he's got a fantastic pedigree. He's won silver wherever he's been. This club's been fantastically successful, you know, especially under Fergie, nearly 3 decades of success with Alex Ferguson. And, you know, we're just not the same team as we used to be. But I think Jose Mourinho and Manchester United should be we should be in a much better position than we're now, considering the size of the club, considering the history of the club, considering the history of Mourinho. We should be a much more of a commanding position as we should be. Mourinho's still convinced we can get the top 4. I'm not too sure now. You know, we're 7 points now from the top 4. All played 12 games. You know, we shouldn't be in a position that we should be in. You know, I just think, are these players playing for Jose Mourinho, the majority of them? You know, because, you know, don't get me wrong, Manchester City are a world-class side. You know, they've only lost once at the Etihad Stadium in the last 40 games under Pep Guardiola after taking a lead anyway. So that is an absolute phenomenal statistic. And I think Manchester United were the last team to do that, was last season sometime. But it's just not good enough, guys. It's just not good enough. Performances need to step up. Fellaini, you know, he's a long ball player. I think Fred should have been in his position yesterday. So what's Mourinho doing there? I said Fred should have been there. He did well giving Herrera the chance. I think he started twice now from the beginning. Herrera, he started at Juventus midweek. He's been playing well lately, to be fair. I don't think he was on his game yesterday, though, to be quite fair. But as right-hand side needs addressing, that's getting exploited far too easily as well. You could see in the midfield yesterday. We had a static midfield, so it was easy, for City to exploit that midfield quite easily. You could see how much acres of space he had, because with a midfield like Matic and Fellaini, it's just totally static, and you could see Manchester United were just basically yesterday we were just inviting pressure from Manchester City. We were just getting them to come forward every single time. But the Gea rate didn't really have a save to make. They just looked very, very dangerous going forward. They controlled the game. They were creative. They were every time they come forward, they looked very, very dangerous. They were an aerial threat. Raheem Sterling played very, very well for them as well. And it was just a great performance of Manchester City. It weren't the best of play, but it was a good enough for them to win that game. But it's good to see Martial's the only positive, because he's still in good form. He's still getting his name on the score sheet. Obviously, he got the penalty yesterday, and that was atrocious, because that basically was our only shot on target as well. But as he said in his press conference, Jose Mourinho, he said people who go on stats don't understand football. He said it was defensive errors that led to Manchester City's 3 goals. He said that's different than the overall performance. He said it was a bad performance from the defence. He said he says it was defensive errors. He says we won't get relegated. This is what he just said in his press conference. He said Fellaini shouldn't have played for the 90 minutes. But he says we still look much better and stronger, according to Jose Mourinho. But his tactical game plan definitely needs to change. And if we don't get top 4 at the end of the season, or by the end of the season, Jose Mourinho, my opinion, will definitely be out of the door. You've got £50 million there on the bench. We know Doyle, he's injured, so he can't play. He's got a knock injury. Valencia's still got a mouth injury, so Valencia hasn't played in a while. Centre backs partnership, it's been smaller than Lindelof, recently. Because obviously Bailey hasn't played for quite a while. He's a good composed centre back. I just blame the manager and I blame the players as well. Before Newcastle game, regardless of the result, Mourinho was going to be sacked. That was going to happen, but it didn't happen. And then we went on a good run of form. He gives a gun to the Fergusons, the late goals. The comebacks as well. But the performances again not up to scratch. This team needs to start performing. We need to stop. We only seem to be playing for one half, or we only seem to. The urgency only comes, when we seem to go behind in the game, and that never really used to happen. And for me, Jose Mourinho has got to change this around. He's got to see, who we can bring in the January transfer window. Mourinho, we know Pep Guardiola, Manchester United have invested a lot of money in that team, £1 billion in all the managerial areas. Pep Guardiola, fantastic manager. He's broken records. He's won 24 trophies in his career. Had a good pedigree with Bayern Munich in Barcelona. As Pep Guardiola, and he spent £1 billion on his managerial career. More than half that has been spent at Manchester City. They have purchased it, as we all know. But City got 100 points last season. But as we all know, guys, Manchester United have spent more than Manchester City overall. Man United have spent more than Manchester City. I just don't think the team are gelling correctly. I think Mourinho's getting it wrong in some games. You look back in the Bournemouth game, even Mourinho said in his press conference in that game, it was a shock admission in that we could have been 6-2 down in that game at half-time to Bournemouth. We improved in the second half, but we only played for one half in that Bournemouth game, and Rashford was our rescue. Was lucky not to lose that game as well, and that's Bournemouth, as I said, and we know, where we're playing at the moment, we're nowhere near on this level, and we've got to try and graduate to that level somehow. I don't know how. We're nowhere near on the same levels of the likes of the European teams, especially like Juventus, Madrid, Barcelona. We're nowhere near on the same levels as City. We're nowhere near on the same levels as Chelsea at this moment in time. Even Liverpool, we're nowhere near on the same levels as them. At the moment, because defensively we are terrible. We've only kept 1 clean sheet this season in the league. We've only won 3 away all season on road so far in the league. Well, it's just not good enough. So things have to dramatically improve. The question is, are these players, the players getting the best out of Jose Mourinho and the coaching staff at Manchester United? The players have had disputes with him. Don't get me wrong. The performance yesterday, we wasn't even in the game. We wasn't even in the game against Juventus until Jose Mourinho brought them 3 substitutions on. That was a good plan B, to be quite fair. It did change the game around, so I did credit Jose Mourinho in that situation. we was on the back for the majority of that game. We should have lost that game. If you go through the statistics, and Juventus basically didn't take their chances, and they awfully seldom lose at the Allianz Stadium, especially in the Champions League. We was lucky not to win that, and Jose Mourinho changed the game around by bringing Juan Mata on, Peter Billions from him. And that should have given us confidence going into the derby yesterday. But there was no passion, there was no heart, there was no desire. We looked terrible on the ball. We kept losing the ball far too easily, especially in the midfield. Defensively woeful. Right hand side definitely needs addressing. There was no attacking instinct at all. We only had the one shot on target. Edison had nothing to do in the game. And City were just far too powerful for us, and that's what we've just got to accept. City are a better team than us now, because that's what we've just got to accept, guys. But as I said, we could see a few players leave in the January window. There's been talks about under Herrera at Manchester United. Reportedly, I don't know if I think Man United are willing to have negotiations about securing him a new deal at the club. His current contract comes to an end at the end of the season. Does enter under Herrera. He's been here now. I think this is his 5th season now with United. He used to get a lot more game time under Louis van Gaal did under Herrera, and then he's getting under Mourinho. He has been making substitute appearances this season, but in the last 2 games, he has played from the start. I thought he had a bad game yesterday under Herrera, but I do like him overall because he has made an impact for us this season. When he has come on as them substitute appearances as under Herrera. So, he's free to discuss with other clubs in January. He's under Man United will be reluctant to sell the player. I can't see Man United sanctioning under Herrera off. He's had experience of being in Spain as well, because he does. I think Herrera, to be fair, when Pogba's there and Matic, or if it's Pogba and Fred, I think, Herrera does complement our midfield quite well. Yesterday he had a bad game because obviously Fellaini and Matic, basically don't have a lot of tempo. They don't have any tempo to the play. And our midfield looked very, very static yesterday. And was midfield was just basically too slow. His overall play was too slow. And we just didn't cause any problems at all going forward whatsoever. And, I think it said in the press as well, City, Gundogan's goal was about 44 pass move or something like that. I think the last time that had happened when it was back in 2015, Juan Mata against Southampton, reportedly. Something like that. I might not got the statistic fully right as well. But yeah, and there was also a player coming to an end of his deal. We also know Eric Bailey's coming to an end of his deal as well with Man United. Partly it said the other week in the press that AC Milan reportedly interested in him. He's only made 7 appearances this season for Man United, so he hasn't featured much. He has had injury problems, since he's come to the club as Eric Bailey. But we know Jose Mourinho's, to be fair, has missed out on a lot of potential targets. He's missed out on, he's interested in that Inter Milan back. Toby Alderweireld, Harry Maguire. Who else? Who was the other defender he was interested in now? It came out in the press yesterday about Nathan Ake. A few teams are interested in him, such as Manchester City and Tottenham are interested in him as well. Manchester City and Tottenham are interested in him as well. He's a player that's been at Bournemouth since like 2016. He risen up the ranks with Chelsea, did Nathan Ake. He's also been at Reading and Watford as Nathan Ake. He won Watford Young Player of the Season, Chelsea Young Player of the Year. He was at Chelsea about 5-6 years, was he? Something like that, when he'd risen up the ranks in the youth system. This season, importantly, he's been very, very impressive for Bournemouth. Bournemouth rate him at about £40 million. He can play as a centre-back. He can also play as a left-back as well. Reportedly, Chelsea have the option to but have a 40 million buyout clause to get the player back at Stamford Bridge. Everything, but partly Jose Mourinho's interested in the player. Bournemouth are looking to sanction him off and look for a replacement for him. But I think he'd complement our defensive area well if he was to come to Manchester United. We need basically, a defence, that we had back in the day who was comparable to Rio Ferdinand Vidic, who was absolutely a fantastic centre-back partnership, back in the Alex Ferguson day. I think we potentially need a left-back as well, and Nathan Ake would be, ideal because he can play as a centre back. He can also play as a left back as well. Can the player? Talks that basically Juan Mata. There's been talks about him potentially leaving on a free next summer and going to Arsenal. That's what's come out in the media. Again, I can't see Man United sanction him off. I think Man United will want to secure him a new deal, before that can process through. I don't potentially think Juan Mata would want to leave. But saying Arsenal want to go for him on a 3 next summer. But if Man United were to offload him, as I said, they'd want to cash in for their player. Same with Eric Bailey in January, rather than let them go on a 3 next summer. But yeah, Juan Mata, he's a very, very good, consistent player. Juan Mata, I thought he should have started in the Manchester derby yesterday, in my opinion. Mourinho is basically looking to reunite with Juan Mata, because obviously they worked together at Valencia for like 5 years or so. Reason up the ranks for Real Madrid. He made 174 appearances for Valencia. He was very, very good during his Chelsea days with them. We've had him since the day of Moyes era, and I think he's been absolutely fantastic since he's come to the club. Is Juan Mata. It's his 5th season now with Man United. I think he's had like eight years now in the Premier League overall as Juan Mata. So reportedly said Arsenal could set a move for him next summer when his current contract term comes to an end, does the players. But I can't see Man United sanctioning him off, especially to an arch rival of Arsenal. I know Man United and Arsenal have done deals in the past with Van Persie to Man U, Welbeck to Arsenal, and with the Sanchez deal back in January as well. As I said, Alexis Sanchez, I think a majority of Manchester United fans want to see him leave. He isn't a good number 7 at Manchester United. He just only scored 4 goals since he's come to the club, and he hasn't really made an impact since he's come to Old Trafford as Sanchez. Sometimes it takes players time to settle in, but for me, we've only had him since January. Reportedly PSG are linked with him. They were linked with him last year. And PSG, are willing to maybe go for him in January, maybe willing to go for him next summer as well. He's good in his Arsenal days, very good in his Barcelona days, when he was alongside David Villa and Lionel Messi and was Sanchez. He was very, very good then, to be quite fair. But he's versatile and he can play in numerous positions, but he really fulfills himself in that number 7 spot. And it just isn't working at Manchester United for Alexis Sanchez. At the moment, we know he's on £500,000 a week, the highest paid player. And basically, now, with Lukaku being back, especially, I think Lukaku being back, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard basically for Sanchez to get that game time now in that left hand side, because obviously Mourinho prefers Martial and Rashford on that left hand side. When Lukaku's currently fully fit and when he's playing. He came on yesterday. He got us the penalty, Edison. There were talks whether it was a penalty or not. I wasn't too sure. I didn't see it close up. But good news is Martial. I think he will be staying at Man United. Jose Mourinho does want Martial to stay at Old Trafford. Reportedly it says he was on the brink of signing. He was on the brink of signing a 45 million a year deal plus a 5-year contract added onto that as well. He currently turned down the previous offer at Anthony Martial. He turned it down. He said Tottenham and Chelsea were linked with him during the summer. But I think Martial, from his perspective, wants to stay at the club. He has been in fantastic form. He's got young, good age talent. He will grow and develop more, just basically like Marcus Rashford. But yeah, he's been recalled back into the France squad due to his fantastic performances, Anthony Martial. But, we missed out on a lot of potential targets. I'd love Ivan Perisic in Man United. Very, very good with Inter Milan. It's a shame we didn't get Ivan Perisic because he's a good 2-footed player, good in the air, can put balls into the box as well. So I think Ivan Perisic would have been an ideal good player for us. He's not brilliant, but I think he would have been good enough at Man United. Obviously, we got Sanchez on that left in the stead. Number 9, Lukaku. Lukaku, I do rate him and I don't rate him. I think he is a big game bottler, as everyone spoke about, before Manchester United got him for £75 million from Everton. He was Premier League proven, so he was proven in the Premier League before he came to United, obviously. He was at Chelsea, he was at Everton. He was very, very good at Everton. I think he scored 26 goals in one season or something like that with Everton.
But I think everyone talks about him being a big game bottler. He can finish, can Lukaku, but I think his style of play, like his tempo, he hasn't got much tempo to his play at all. I think he's slow on the ball. I think he loses the ball far too easily. I think he can be good in the air as well, but I think I'd have preferred a better number 9 than Romelu Lukaku, to be quite honest with you. And there were players out there that we could have got over Lukaku at the moment in time. I'd have preferred Morata over Lukaku. Definitely preferred Morata over Lukaku. I'd have loved Aubameyang at Manchester United because he was very, very good with Borussia Dortmund. He's doing very, very good now for Arsenal. So I basically would have preferred a better number 9 than Romelu Lukaku. But yeah, as I said, we could see a few players go in January or next summer because we have got a lot of players coming to their end of the deals. For me, Ashley Young, I do really like Ashley Young. To be quite honest, I think he's now 33-year-old. As I said, I think he's more of a right winger than a right back, but Jose Mourinho's playing him at that right back position due to Valencia's absence because Valencia hasn't played in a while. He always played as a right winger for England, and during his Aston Villa days as well. Did Ashley Young as well, but potentially what's going on with this club? We haven't met since Mourinho's come. Basically he's invested a lot of money in the club. We haven't met the expectation levels. Now, considering on paper we should have a Premier League title on the board, the amount of money we've spent, with a manager we've got who has a fantastic pedigree. Any other club is managed, and this club has a fantastic history as well. I just think it's gone downhill since Jose Mourinho's gone. I said this team needs to try and be comparable to the team that we had under Alex Ferguson. We know there's still a few players here that were under Alex Ferguson, such as Valencia, Valencia, Jones, and all that are still here. Ashley Young, but they've experienced the good times at Manchester United. But players like Herrera, who we've got in, under Van Gaal, the players like Lukaku, the players like Sanchez now, the players like Luke Shaw and Lindelof, and all these players, haven't really experienced good times at Manchester United because obviously we didn't have them under Alex Ferguson. So they need to try. They need to try and see if they can get the good times back at Manchester United. But the way it's going at the moment, it's not looking realistic at all. And I think Jose Mourinho is going to be on the pressure now. There'll be more immense pressure now on Jose Mourinho now after that Derby defeat. I think there was still some United fans that still wanted him out anywhere, even when we was on that good run of form. As I said, but for me, he's had disputes with a lot of the players. He's had disputes with Paul Pogba. Reportedly, Paul Pogba's agents confirmed that his relationship with Jose Mourinho is being solved out. Reportedly, Juventus could actually potentially make a move for him in January. Juventus have a lot of respect for him because that's Paul Pogba's ex-club. Reportedly, it did say in the press that Juventus are willing to offer one of their 3 players for exchange for Paul Pogba to go back to Juventus, where he was very, very good. He made 179 appearances. He won honours with them. He made 124 appearances in the Serie A with Juventus. For me, he's just not that good at Manchester United. I think he has the odd good game here and there. I thought last season Manchester Derby was phenomenal. I thought against Everton he played well, Paul Pogba. But for me, £89 million, for that price, basically you could get two players. You could get 2 players for that price. Maybe even sometimes you could maybe even get 3 players sometimes for that price. £89 million, and Paul Pogba's really hasn't produced. He's basically done nothing really, since he's come to that club. But we know in the game yesterday that Manchester City had a couple of players out as well. They had De Bruyne out, the best player for me in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt. Good team player, works very, very hard for Manchester City, creates attacks, scores goals as well. Absolutely fantastic, Kevin De Bruyne, but obviously he's out till mid-December. And look how good City are now. They can just prove how good they are without even Kevin De Bruyne in the team. So imagine, if Kevin De Bruyne was added into the squad as well. If De Bruyne was there yesterday, it could have been a hell of a lot more than 3-1, and that's what we've just got to accept, guys, as well. We're never going to get a manager as comparable as Fergie. That's what we've just basically got to accept. Mourinho's still inheriting some players from what Fergie had, still inheriting some of the players what Van Gaal had, you know, and inheriting some of the players that David Moyes had as well. But he's spent a lot of money in this club as Jose Mourinho, just under £400 million. And these players, with the wages there on a week, you know, they should be out there performing. They should be out there performing, not playing defensively against a team like Manchester City, because playing for the draw or playing for the point against Manchester City, you are not going to get that point. You're not going to achieve out playing defensively against a team like Manchester City. You will just not get away with it, and that's just how it is. You know, with Fergie, we had a lot of bad games, but he had that fear factor, he had that game plan, and we used to grind results out a lot. But we just knew how to win games, even though we wasn't playing our best. You know, that's what good teams do. You know, now we're playing really, really bad. And all of a sudden now, we're not getting away with playing bad anymore. We are not getting away with playing bad anymore. Like in the 2013 season when we had Fergie, you know, we won the league by a huge deficit, you know, won it by 11 points. We played awful football all season, but we still won the league because we managed to win more games than anybody else. And obviously we had Robin van Persie, who was in fantastic form that year as well. But we're playing bad now and we're not getting away with it anymore because obviously Fergie's not there now. The fear factor's gone. Old Trafford's no longer a fortress. We're losing to teams we shouldn't be losing to. But Manchester City, you know, I'm disappointed because I hate Man City because they're his rivals, but I have no shame in losing to them. You know, if we'd at least put some effort in, if we hadn't have gone defensively and would have just lost the game, and we played to our potential, then I wouldn't have been as disappointed. But we showed nothing, showed no character, no desire in that game at all yesterday to even go for the win. We showed absolutely nothing. You know, I don't know my opinions on Jose Mourinho. I really don't know. I'm confused by it because some of the decisions he makes are right. Some of the decisions he makes are wrong. And for me, Fred was 49, £50 million. He should have put him on instead of Marouane Fellaini, in my opinion. You know, especially in a big game against Manchester City. You know, he could probably maybe put Fellaini there if it was against the likes of, you know, a team like Burnley or Cardiff or something like that. But in a big game, he should have give Fred the opportunity instead of putting Marouane Fellaini there. And that's my opinion. I think he should have started Juan Mata from the start, which he didn't. I'm surprised. I thought he'd have started Lukaku from the start, to be quite fair, but he didn't. He brought him on as a substitution. He didn't start Sanchez either. He put Martial on the left and Rashford in the centre. So I thought he potentially might have started Sanchez over either Martial and Rashford, but he didn't. So I'd love to know your opinions on the club. What's going on with the club? I do not know. You know, we've still got games coming up now. We've got Crystal Palace after the international. Sorry guys about that. It just completely went off. I do apologise. Sorry guys about that. It just went off. I do apologise. It just currently turned off. So my battery currently run low. So yeah, I'd love to know your opinions on Jose Mourinho. As I said, the De Gea situation. He currently hasn't signed his extension yet. Mourinho's not too confident. He's gonna. He said a few weeks ago back in the media. De Gea, who's been here now 8 years at Manchester United, potentially the best goalkeeper in the world. Would Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, or any other good manager want any player now at Manchester United? You know, the way this team is performing at the moment. You know, Jurgen Klopp's got a good pedigree with Dortmund. He's doing very, very well with Liverpool. He's defensively sorted them out. He spent just under £400 million. You know, so something needs to change at Manchester United. And De Gea hasn't signed this contract term extension yet. You know, I said these players will be happy to stay as long as we're up there competing. You know, and we're not. I'd like to know your opinions on Mourinho. Give me your feedback. The description below is Manchester United. The hashtag is. I'm going to get off, guys, because I'm off something to eat, and I'll be doing more live videos soon, so there'll be more videos coming up. So if you do consider subscribe, drop a like on the video, I would appreciate it. Take care. God bless. See you all again very soon. Peace.